means separated from a body by a blow from an instrument. The body was us, and the instrument was their inorganic creation tools. AI, which is artificial, which is inorganic, and intelligence not provided by them, but provided by us, that then bound us to their inorganic binary code creation. The fact that they call it a PC, which like political correctness means people control, says a lot. And to show how they like to take the piss, which they do regularly for their own satanic amusement, they called the processor the motherboard. Oh my. The very creation, the system of inorganic ones and zeros replaced and took away. So the church took away the mother, but who started that church? Well, for most, it goes back to the Romans. But what if we analyse that word, Roman? Let's look at the word in phonetics. Ro, R-O. An artificial language for international use that rejects all existing words and is based instead on an abstract analysis of ideas, artificial language. A language that is deliberately created for a specific purpose. That's the meaning of RO. An artificial language for international use that rejects all existing words and is based instead on an abstract analysis of ideas, artificial intelligence, a language that is deliberately created for a specific purpose. RO, man. So, RO, man, is an artificial language used against man. What is the language of Roman? Latin. What is law written in? Latin. Legalese means Babel. Who created Latin? The Anunnaki and the Lord. Let's remind ourselves what the Lord said. Come, let's go down and confuse the people with different languages. Unquote. Springs to mind now. Which religion and culture operates under the law? Hebrew. Now have you connected the dots? Earlier we had the term decimal. But what about December, the final month of the year? Does that provide any clues to back up this information? A unit of measurement was 12 and was reduced to 10. So how is the 12th month relevant to the 10? Because Decem is 10. And December is the 10th month, not the 12th month in the Roman calendar. The last 4 months of our normal calendar are based on numerics, 7, 8, 9 and 10. September, Sept is 7, Oct is 8, November is 9 and Decem is 10. In the Roman calendar, the first month is not January, but March. March is represented by Mars, which is the planet of war, and the Romans just loved to march, or was it goose step, in their conquests, aided and abetted by the Knights Templar. And where did they originate from? The bound demons Temple of Solomon. Maybe that name is just another piss take, dedicated to the fall of the female. Is it Solomon or solo man. To complete the computer and water-based connections, we come to the term phishing with an F, like Zuckerberg with a silent F. Or is it phishing with a PH? Phishing with a PH is the fraudulent attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames, passwords and credit card details by disguising oneself as a trustworthy entity in an electronic communication. Just like the AI machine then, is it not? And we all fell for it, hook, line and sinker, just like the fish in the sea. So with the fall of the female, wrapped and bound to the false creation that is the moon, their next plan was to take over the earth, a case of re-engineering in their image. The term geo, G-E-O, is another word for earth. Now remember, earth just means inhabited planet, of which our earth is one of many of the inhabited worlds. So let's start with the word engineer. Mid-14th century engineer, which means constructor of military engines. From Old French ingénieur, engineer, architect, maker of war engines, schemer. Interesting thing to ponder on is that they had engineers building military engines in the 1300s, is it not? Something that often gets overlooked. So having established that an engineer is connected to war and war machines, let's look at the other terms of engineering, shall we? Geoengineering, which essentially means correct earth by means of war. Bioengineering, which essentially means correct life by means of war, by declaring war on biological entities. Then we come to how they did it, by the term genetic engineering, which means to change the biological species and declare war on them via genetics. Earth inhabitants engineered by genetics, bio and social constructs. Geoengineering is in essence means war on terror. Not war on terror, but war on terror. They always tell you, war on terror means war on earth, not terror spelt with an O-R at the end. It's all there, it's all subtle. Creating order out of their chaos by making people into weapons. So where did the fall start? And is there anything in our modern culture that would symbolise the fall? Like I said, they always have to show you. You just have to decode it. And the answer is yes. The term as above, so below applies in this factor. And it's something I stumbled upon through pondering recently, and you know what happens then. A triangle, which is a 2D pyramid, which points up from a viewing point and can also symbolise the male. But as above, so below. So you have a mirror triangle directly below it, which is pointing down and symbolising the female. So now you have two triangles, one above and one below. and it now, if you've drawn it correctly, it now represents the shape of a diamond. How are couples bound together in a wedding ceremony? With a diamond. It's all connected. But the dark forces tip everything upside down. They invert it or mirror it. So if that diamond shape is inverted, the female is now pointing up and the male is pointing down. Now, what if the female triangle at the top slipped halfway down the male triangle, symbolizing the fall? You are now looking at the 6-pointed star shape. Oops. The hexagon. Hex means to practice witchcraft, symbolizing the fall of the female was done by witchcraft and the moon-based cults, does it not? The 6-pointed star is indicative to two groups covered extensively in the From Russia with Love series, Solomon, or is it Solo Man, and Israel. The Hebrew and Anunnaki connections runs deep. And they, with their dark overlords, created this fall from 1-on-1 with the 1 to 1, 0 and 0. Upon researching the hexagram, it came up with a set of figures that people will find alarming, but also deeply confirming part 1 of this show. A regular hexagram can be constructed by orthographically projecting any cube onto a plane through 3 vertices that are all adjacent to the same vertex. The 12 midpoints to edges of the cube form a hexagram. For example, consider the projection of the unit cube with vertices at the 8 possible binary sectors in 3 dimensions. Now the following set of numbers, of which there are 7, but the 7th was missing, and you are left with the 6 numbers sequence, which may or may not be symbolic of the 6-pointed star, and I will read them in reverse as that is the flow. 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and 1, 0, 0. You know what the hidden number is? 1, 1, and 1. The hexagram, the 6-pointed star, is the fall of man. And the ones that betray it are the ones that cause the fall. One, 1, 1, which went to 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and finally what we have now, which is being corrected, 1, 0, as in no female, because bound to the moon and disconnected from source, 0. No. 1 male, 1 female, with the source, 1, 1, and 1. Well, there you have it. The end figures of that sequence is 1, 1, 1. The first figure, which is reversed, in sequence is 100, which is not only the computer coding, but symbolic of the fall of the female and the disconnect from source. The last of the 6 numbers, 100, and all that was left was man. Woman and source removed.
Okay, that's it. I've had enough.